In the fall of 2024, Daniel Marsh opened a spreadsheet he had been building for 11 years. The final number at the bottom was $112,400. He stared at it for a long time. He had been saving money since 2013. Disciplined, consistent. Every month, something went in. He had never touched it. What the spreadsheet did not show was the number it should have been. That number was $334,000. But the difference between the two figures, $221,600, was not a loss. It was an absence. Daniel Marsh grew up in Columbus, Ohio. His father worked at a tool and die plant. His mother kept the household books in a green ledger on the kitchen counter. He learned early that money was serious. You did not gamble with it. You did not rush it. You waited until you were certain, and then you moved. By 2013, Daniel was 32. He had a project manager role at a mid-sized tech firm in Columbus. Big salary, $67,000. He had $18,000 in a savings account. No debt except a mortgage. He had read enough to know about index funds. He understood compounding. He knew intellectually what time in the market meant. He just wasn't ready. The S&P 500 in early 2013 was trading around 1,500. He thought it had already run too far. He would wait for a pullback, he told himself, something more reasonable. The pullback did not come. But by the end of 2013, the S&P was at 1,848. He noted this without panic. The market would correct. It always did. He kept saving. The account grew. By 2015, it held $41,000. He moved it into a high-yield savings account, paying 1.2% annually. He felt responsible. If you want to see how long a person can wait for something that never feels quite right, here's what I ask. Subscribe. Drop a like if this one hit close. Tell us in the comments. Have you ever waited for the right time to invest? And when did you finally stop waiting? Back to Daniel. 2015. Ended. 2016. Ended. An election came, and the market did something nobody expected. It rose. Daniel watched. He did not move. He told his coworker Marcus in January 2017 that he thought the rally was borrowed time. It has to correct, he said. Marcus nodded. Marcus also did not invest. This is the part that rarely gets told. That two people who both knew what they were supposed to do, standing in a break room, agreeing not to do it. The S&P 500 closed 2017 up 21.8%. Daniel's savings account paid him $532 in interest that year. He did not calculate the difference. By 2018, the account held $67,000. He felt the weight of it differently now. More to lose. He decided to wait for a better entry point. Something more rational. In December 2018, the market dropped roughly 20%. This was the correction Daniel had been waiting for. He opened his brokerage account. He stared at it. He did not pull the trigger. He was afraid it would go lower. What if he bought, and it fell another 20%? That would be $13,000 gone in a month. He closed the browser. January 2019. The market began to recover. By April, it had erased the entire December decline. Daniel watched it go back up from a distance. Like watching a train he had decided not to board. He had a reason every single time. That is the thing about this story that most people miss entirely. 2019 ended with the S&P up 31.5%. Daniel's account now held $82,000. He had added $15,000 in new savings that year. His investment return, $985. Then, March 2020 arrived. The S&P dropped 34% in 33 days. This was it. Now, this was the moment he had been waiting for since 2013. But the world was also ending, or seemed to be. Every headline confirmed it. He could not separate the investment opportunity from the catastrophe surrounding it. He waited again. By August 2020, the S&P had fully recovered. The window, the cheapest window in a decade, lasted approximately 6 weeks. The account now held $94,000. Interest earnings for 2020, $1,200, when the S&P returned 16.3% that year. He had watched all of it from the outside. He told himself 2021 would be different. He would pick a date, January 1st, and he would invest. He wrote it down in his planner. January 1st came. He watched football. He thought about it. The market would open in 2 days. He told himself he would decide then. He did not decide then. He told himself the market felt frothy. Valuations were extended. He had read an article. It was reasonable, and it made sense. He had been telling himself reasonable things for 8 years. The information was always real. The analysis was always coherent. The conclusion was always, not yet. He wasn't indecisive. That is a misreading of what happened here. He decided every single time, and every single time, his decision was to wait. The math had been running quietly in the background the entire time. He just hadn't let himself look at it directly. According to Dalbar's annual study, the average equity investor underperforms the market by roughly 3 to 4 percentage points per year, not because of bad picks, but because of mistimed entries and exits. 2021 ended. The S&P was up 26.9%. Daniel's account held $101,000, his first time crossing 6 figures. He felt good about the milestone. He did not feel the cost of it. Then 2022 happened. The S&P fell 19.4%. It was the worst year since 2008. Every headline said the same thing. The correction had finally arrived. Daniel felt something different this time. Not fear. Urgency. 9 years of waiting had built pressure he no longer knew how to hold. He opened the brokerage account, and this time, he invested $40,000. He bought into a declining market in June 2022, near what felt like the bottom. The market continued to fall. By October, his $40,000 was worth $31,200. He watched it fall every week. The patience he had applied to not investing, he could not apply it now to holding. In November 2022, he sold. His loss, $8,800. The S&P bottomed in October 2022 and began recovering. By the end of 2023, it had returned 26.3% from its lows. Daniel had sold near the bottom and watched the recovery from cash. If you think you wouldn't have sold, you probably haven't watched $8,800 disappear in 5 months from the only investment you ever made. His account at the end of 2023, $101,000 in cash and high-yield savings. Exactly what he had before he invested. Minus $8,800, plus 3 years of waiting. The S&P 500 in 2024 gained 23.3%. Daniel did not participate. He was still waiting for the right time, still gathering information, still reading articles. In October 2024, Daniel turned 52. His wife made dinner. His daughter called from college. It was a quiet evening. He thought about the spreadsheet later, alone. $18,000 invested in January 2013 in an S&P 500 index fund would have grown to approximately $82,000 by October 2024, even accounting for 2022's decline. He had started with $18,000. His account showed $112,400. Yet the extra $30,400 in his account came from 11 years of disciplined saving. He had added roughly $100,000 to the original $18,000. He had not grown the money. He had added to it. If he had invested $1,000 a month beginning January 2013, the amount he was capable of saving, and left it in an index fund untouched, the account would show approximately $334,000 today. The $221,600 gap was not caused by a bad decision. It was caused by the accumulation of reasonable ones. Each choice, individually, made sense. Together, they compounded into absence. This wasn't the only time this happened. Across the United States, there are millions of savings accounts holding money that has never been invested, belonging to people who are still waiting for the right time. Daniel is still working. He has recalibrated his savings plan. He is now invested, partially, cautiously, in a target date fund. He reviews it quarterly. He does not look at it between reviews. His retirement projection at 52, with current savings and current contributions, shows a comfortable finish, if everything holds. He plans to retire at 67. He has 15 years. He waited 11 years for the right time to invest. The right time never announced itself. It never does. It made sense at the time.